Hi, it's Dorothy Guiney with Scrapbooking Quebec. Happy Canada Day and welcome to the Canada Day video hop hosted by Emily Leipart. I'm joining a group of crafty Canadian YouTubers and we are celebrating this special day by featuring Canadian craft products, shops, and publications who have generously sponsored today's event with over $1,000 in prizes. After you finish watching my video, leave a comment for a chance to win, then click on the link in the description box below for the next person on the hop. So the more you comment, the higher your chances of winning. Also, please indicate if you are in Canada or elsewhere because a few of the prizes are reserved for Canadian addresses only. All the giveaway information is on Emily's blog, along with some discount codes and a complete list of the participants. So if you get lost along the hop or you want one of those discount codes, head on over there. I'll put a link to her blog in the description box below as well. You have until July 12th, 2022 to comment, and all winners will be announced on July 22nd, 2022. So here's the layout I'm going to be creating in this video, and I'm going to be using 49 in Market's Spectrum Sherbet collection, along with some tools from Tim Holtz. Scrap and Stamp, which is an online shop in Vancouver, British Columbia, is sponsoring my video, and I was invited to select what I wanted from the shop, and to my delight, it was very well stocked in tools. So in case you're unaware, I love using tools to embellish my layouts, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing in this video. So here are the Tim Holtz products I selected from Scrap and Stamp, and I have the tree line stamp set along with a coordinating die, and the die fits one of those lines of trees, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. I'll be showing it to you. This is actually from a Christmas collection, but my layout has nothing to do with Christmas. I find Christmas tools with trees are great for outdoorsy layouts like camping and hiking. I also selected another stamp set. It's called Perspective, and this one I've wanted for quite some time. It's great for background stamping or creating titles. Those big, bold text blocks are fantastic for titles, and that's what I'm going to be using in my video today. So all of these products are linked and listed in the description box below, as well as Scrap and Stamp where they came from. So let's get started. Here's what's on my desk. I'm showing you I have two photos that I matted in advance. I actually matted them with paper that I gutted from behind my foundation page, because you're going to see I created a frame style foundation with 3 sheets of paper, but I did gut 2 of them. There is a tutorial on my channel where I explain how I do that, so that will be listed below. I kept the white separate for the time being because I am going to be working with that. Here are some other papers I have from that collection handy, and most of them did come from behind my foundation page. And I also have this little bowl of ephemera from the very same 49 and Market collection. However, most of my embellishing is going to come from these tools that came from Scrap and Stamp. So let's get started. You can see I have the stamps on blocks. So I have 3 of the stamps on blocks. I'm showing you them right now. And I'm also going to show you that in advance, I tested out a few stamp colors, or a few ink colors, I should say. I didn't just start stamping on my page. And I end up going one which is called Soft Succulent. It's an ink color from Stampin' Up. And so my plan basically is to stamp a background of trees, kind of like a mat behind my photo. So that's what I'm going to start doing right now. And I'm basically starting about 3/4 of the way down the page. I'm not too worried about positioning, about keeping it straight, because I do know I plan to add those die cut trees in front of my stamp line later on. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten out a stamp positioner. But nevertheless, you're going to see I do pretty good at keeping it straight. So I stamped once, and then I keep stamping without re-inking, moving up towards the top. And I'm going to do that again right here on the right. So what it creates, it looks almost like a shadow effect of trees, like there's a forest off in the distance. So there I go, stamping a few times towards the top. And each time I'm kind of moving in a bit. I want this mat of trees to kind of go up in an angle almost towards a point at the top of the page. So now I'm taking a second stamp set. This one is another tree line, but it's a little bit more narrow. So For this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp on a piece of scrap paper because I don't want it to be dark as I continue moving up. I want the shadow effect to continue. So there I go, and you can see it does a beautiful job of this. So I stamp up a few times, and then I'm going to do the very same thing on the right hand side. And again, I'm moving up a bit on an angle so that it points up towards the middle of the top of the page. These stamps work very well. They're very easy to use, and it's amazing that they come from a Christmas collection and it doesn't look like a Christmassy page at all. So now what I'm going to do, now that the base of this is established, I'm going to place my photos on the page because I'm going to want to do some stamping a bit more towards the top of the page, but I want to basically know where I have to stamp. So I'm going to take that very same second stamp that I used and start stamping towards the top. And you're going to see when I do this, it is going to look weird, but keep in mind that the photos are going to cover up the weirdness. So I'm not worried about that at all. So I do like stamping, but I don't like fussy stamping. It has to be easy, like what I'm doing in this video. So there I go. This time I don't worry about stamping off on a scrap paper first. I just start stamping, and now I'm just moving around the uninked stamp around the page just to kind of soften up the edges and stuff like that. You're also going to see me get out a single tree stamp. This stamp set comes with several single trees. I just am taking one of them. And basically what I'm doing is stamping a few of them towards the top of the page just to kind of extend that tree line up and continue with this organic look on that stamped mat that's behind the photos. So now what I'm going to do is place my white cardstock that's stamped on top of that frame foundation. And once that is down, then what I'm going to do is start embellishing my page. So you will see me get out my big shot, and I will be getting out that die of the trees as well. So there I go, just adhering it to the page. And this is something I often do, creating frame style foundations. But when I stamp, I didn't want to have it adhered because it may have been a bit bumpy in the back because I cut out the back. That's why I kept the white paper separate for stamping. So now I'm getting out some more paper from this Spectrum Sherbet collection, and I plan to cut out a few of those lines of trees. So I'm going to run it through my big shot. You're going to see it cuts out very, very well. It's kind of detailed. I do end up poking out a few of the holes with a little poker stick, but it does cut very well. And I do this twice, and what I will be doing with this is adhering it kind of along the base of those stamped out trees. That's why I wasn't too worried about stamping really straight on the page, simply because I knew I would be adhering these die cut leaves in front of it. So now you can see I have some embellishing around me. I have some of those ephemera pieces, and what I did was I lined up some of those ephemera layering pieces behind one of the two photos. These are two photos of the very same river 1 year apart in Pont Rouge near Quebec City. It's an area where I go hiking a lot, and if you look at the photos, you'll notice the river in one, the water level is much lower than the water level in the second. And this was a photo of the river, two photos of the river, basically 1 year apart, and the difference in the water level was absolutely mind-blowing. So that's what I'm documenting on this layout. So you can see I'm kind of playing around with the positioning of the photos. It's difficult for me to actually put photos on an angle on a page. I usually have everything straight on a page, and for whatever reason it felt right to put these on an angle, but I am having a hard time just because my style, typically everything is straight on a page. Anyway, nevertheless, I put them on an angle. So now I'm adhering those tree lines at the bottom, and basically what I'm creating is a shelf just underneath the photos and underneath that stamped out tree mat that's on the page. And I am using my T-square here just to line them up nice and straight. And the tape I used for that was a score and tape, so a nice strong tape. And I just put the adhesive right at the base, right at the bottom of those trees. Now what I want to do is create a title. So I'm getting out this perspective stamp set, another one that Scrap and Stamp sent me, and I select one of them. And the one I select says, discovering. It's the one thing life will constantly ask of you. I absolutely love it. So I'm stamping it out simply on white cardstock with black ink from Versifying Claire. And then what I will do is play around with it. I will end up adding some layers to it and making it more title worthy. But what I like about these big text stamps is they are nice and big. So they're big enough to create a significant title. But at the same time, there are a lot of words on there. And if I were to use alpha dies or alpha stickers, there's no way I could put that many words on a page because it would take up the entire page. So stamps are great for titles in that case. And I would like to point out, Tim Holtz has a bunch other ones with text that are very title worthy, and I did notice they were available in the shop Scrap and Stamp as well. So I trimmed down that white cardstock, and now I'm playing around with some other papers to put underneath. So I start with a piece of ephemera. I kind of like that. I trim it down a bit, but I'm not 100% satisfied. So at this point, I decide to move on to something else. I'm showing you another stamp set. It's by P13. It's called Calendar Stamp Set in English, something like that. I will list it below. Basically, what I did was on 2 ephemera pieces, 2 tickets, I stamped out May 2021 and May 2022 because it really is part of my story. So I'm playing around with placement. The one for 2022 ends up getting placed on the side. You'll see that in a moment, and I like how that looks with all of the other layers. And now I've given my mind a little break so that I can think about that title for a little bit now. Anyway, I do know I'm not quite happy with the title, but I still like the title. So what I'm going to do is play around with a mat to put underneath the white cardstock. So that's what you see me doing now. That paper there is actually one of them that I gutted from behind the foundation page. That's what I end up going with, and I actually change up the ephemera piece. So this is simply another piece of ephemera from that 49 in Market collection. But before adhering all of that, I decide to add some color in the word discovering, because in that word there are it's like these open spaces in the letters. There's room to be colored there if you so choose. And this stamp set is actually full of them. So I simply have a watercolor color pencil. The color is like, I think it's like Tempting Turquoise or something. It's a color from Stampin' Up! And I just easily, quickly colored in the word discovering. And now what you see me doing is finishing off the title. So I'm trimming down a little photo mat there that's basically 1/4 inch larger than the white block with the title. And then what I end up doing is placing it on top of that other piece of ephemera there. It almost looks like a torn notebook. So I trim it down so that it fits, and now I'm adding a bit of foam adhesive there, so I pop it up on foam adhesive. My plan for journaling at this point is to do my journaling just underneath that line of trees, that die cut line of trees on the white cardstock. So that's what I'm thinking at this point, but you're going to see in a moment, I end up doing my journaling on 2 tags. Those are ephemera pieces as well, and I just kind of have them sticking out from the title, and I'm very happy with that. Also, I did round the corners on the white cardstock. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you could give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be absolutely thrilled if you did. If you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Don't forget to leave a comment for a chance to win some of these amazing prizes. And also click on the link below to hop along. Also, check out Scrap and Stamp. They are fantastic with beautiful tools. The shop is very, very well stocked. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon on YouTube, and I'm going to leave you with a list of all of our generous sponsors. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.